Hello. Sorry, momentary pause. It's time for the next instalment of The Ice Monster by David Walliams.
Hello.
And him. Not that he wrote it. I don't know what's doing there. It's very distracting for me, but my hair's gone a bit flicky-outy. Your parents might remember a cartoon character called Crystal Tips who had purple hair that stuck out like that. And that's what I feel like, although not purple-haired. Anyway.
Shall I get you a bubble?
It's okay. You don't care, so it's fine, do you? So we're at chapter 20. At the end of the last chapter, they'd found the mad old professor, whose voice, incidentally, might change. And also, I would like to confess...
To Welsh.
Yeah, a bit Welsh. It's gone a bit Welsh.
And it's part 9.
I think it's part 8. And whatever it says on the clicky thing, that's the right one. I tried, this is take 2 at least of this tonight because the voices have gone funny and I can't seem to get them right, but I don't think that matters. I shall do my best anyway, but if he goes a bit Welsh and Dotty goes a bit shrieky, I can only apologise, but it's let's just get on with it. Right, chapter 20, Darkfire. Not the saber-toothed tiger, exclaimed Dotty. No, laughed Elsie, that's just a skeleton. No, I suppose there's little help for that now. You don't mean the mammoth, do you? The mammoth, yes. That's what I said, protested the lady. Mammoth. You want to bring that mammoth upstairs back to life? Yes. So, we have a new arrival, do we? Asked the professor. I wondered what all that noise was. Bringing it back to life is madness, exclaimed Dotty. Good madness or bad madness? Asked Elsie. Is there a good kind? Yes. Listen, that creature has been perfectly preserved for 10,000 years. It looks like it snuffed it yesterday, right? Dotty nodded her head. So surely with the professor's lightning-catching thingamajig, we could give it a ginormous shock and restart its heart. Elsie and Dotty looked at the professor. He was the science expert, after all, although he had very nearly burned the Natural History Museum down to the ground. His old eyes lit up with dark fire. He stared straight ahead as the plan began to take shape in his mind. This is a genius idea of mine, he whispered. Elsie looked mightily confused. Wasn't it her idea? I can use my lightning technology to create life, the dream of all scientists since the dawn of time, to be God. I think it's gone to his head a bit, murmured Dotty. I will go down in history as the greatest scientist of my age. No, of all time. Isaac Newton, an apple fell on your head and you came up with the idea of gravity. Who cares? Nicholas Copernicus, you discovered that Earth revolves around the sun rather than the other way round. Big deal. Charles Darwin, so you completely changed the way we think about life on Earth with your theory of revolution. Duh. They will rip up your books, burn your paintings and tear down the statues and put up ones of me. Yes, it will be all about me. Excuse me. There was an uncomfortable silence for a moment. Have you finished? Asked Elsie. The professor paused for thought. Yes, you two will be my assistants. You must do everything I say, and be prepared to lay down your lives in the name of science if needs be. Now come on, there's no time to lose. Instantly, the old man started busying himself with his laboratory, handing pieces of scientific equipment to Elsie, who followed him round like an eager puppy. Dotty looked on in disbelief. Have you two completely lost your minds? She asked. The mind is an abstract construct, replied the professor. What he just said, agreed the girl, not having understood a word of it. If you do manage to catch a bolt of lightning and somehow bring this mammoth, corrected Elsie, that is what I said, back to life, what are you going to do with it? It was a good question and stopped both of them in their tracks. Pondered the girl. Well, maybe the mammoth can come and live with you. Dotty went dotty. With me? I rent a tiny attic room in a boarding house. There's a no cats and dogs rule. What about a no mammoths rule? Asked Elsie. No. Well then, there ain't a no dinosaurs rule either. I ain't sure the landlady thought she'd need any rules about animals that have been extinct for millions of years. Well, if it can't live with you, maybe it can come and live with me. You don't have a home, so maybe we can set it free. Elsie noticed the professor smiling to himself. He was hiding something, but what? We can work on the finer details in good time, he said. First, we have to bring it back to life. Now, where did I put that copper wire? Dotty grabbed whatever bit of scientific equipment Elsie was holding and put it down on the counter. Come on, Elsie, this is all going to end in tears, said the lady. With that, Dotty grabbed the girl's hand and dragged her over to the secret door. Please, Dotty. Oh, please, Dotty, I beg you, cried the professor. I need your help too. No, please. No means no. Just the other side of the door, boot steps could be heard again. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. The pair fell silent. Shh, hushed Elsie. It's Clout. He doesn't know I'm here, hissed the professor. Nobody does. If you led him here, then... Shh, shushed the girl again. All three kept dead still as the boot steps came to a halt right outside the secret door. Click, clack, click, clack. There followed the sound of light tapping. Dotty held her chest. Her heart was racing. Elsie had to hide herself countless times before. The trick was not to breathe. The girl stretched out her hand to silence the old lady. Dotty clasped her hands together and closed her eyes in prayer. Had Clout worked out that there was something behind the secret door? Not yet. There was the sound of boot steps again as Clout moved off. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack. Oh, if I know Mr. Clout, he'll be back, whispered the professor. We have to move like lightning speed if we want this monster back to life. What could possibly go wrong? Murmured Dotty. Chapter 21. 1,000 silk handkerchiefs. In his secret laboratory, the professor expounded his madcap plan. We need to make a giant hot air balloon from silk handkerchiefs and fly it high over the museum in a lightning storm. Elsie, you will need to steal the silk handkerchiefs. Have you ever stolen anything before? Once or twice, lied the girl. How many do you need? Not more than 1,000. 1,000? Give or take. Where am I going to get 1,000 silk handkerchiefs from? 1,000 well-to-do ladies and gentlemen, of course. Now, we will also need a round piece of metal, continued the professor, like a soldier's tin helmet. Suddenly, Dotty jumped up and down, looking as if she desperately needed a wee, but in actual fact she was just overexcited. Oh, she cried, waving her hand in the air. Yes, asked the professor. I know where we can get a tin helmet. My boyfriend, Titch. He'll have one from the war days. Perfect. We will need to attach it to the top of the balloon. Let me show you. The professor reached into the pocket of his dirty laboratory coat. Now, where on earth is my chalk? Elsie looked a little sheepish. Oh, it must have slipped out of your pocket and into my hand, she lied. Very good, child, very good. The professor was mightily impressed. Those fingers will come in handy when you're stealing handkerchiefs. The old man held out his hand and she placed the stolen chalk into it. Then he began drawing his invention on the wall of the laboratory, giving a commentary as he sketched. So here is the balloon with the tin helmet at the very top. The balloon will have a wicker basket attached by ropes to the bottom here. In the middle of the basket, we will place a metal drum. Inside that drum, wood will be burned. The hot air will cause the balloon to inflate and take to the skies. This is all getting very involved, muttered Dotty. Silence while the great professor speaks, he snapped. And the pilot of the balloon will fly into the heart of the storm while the lightning strikes here. Can you see it? He bashed the chalk against the drawing of the metal helmet. A lightning bolt would travel along the length of the copper wire. That's this. All the way down through the museum itself. The end of the wire will be embedded right into, but before he could finish his sentence, Elsie did it for him. The mammoth's heart. Exactly, exclaimed the professor. You're a fast learner, young lady. Dotty put her hand in the air. Yes, he asked grandly. Can I say something? No, he snapped. The lady crossed her arms in a sulk. So you, Elsie, will steal 1,000 silk handkerchiefs, then you, Dotty, will sew them together to make the balloon. The tin helmet this Titch character will provide, the basket, metal drum and firewood Elsie can scavenge from the streets. Copper wire I have here from my last experiment. Couldn't be simpler. Dotty and Elsie stood there open-mouthed in shock. Simple was not the word that sprang to mind. So who will be going up in the balloon? Asked Elsie. The professor grinned a wicked grin. Not you, child. Oh. No? No. I need a little person to squeeze through all the nooks and crannies of the museum and thread that copper wire all the way down from the roof to the main hall. Are you going up in the balloon then, Professor? Asked the girl. Ha, ha! No, child. My infirmity would prevent me from undertaking such a deadly mission. So, who is? The professor's dark eyes fixed on Dotty. Elsie followed his gaze. Why is everyone looking at me? Dotty asked. Because you, cleaning woman, will have the honour of taking the most dangerous, perhaps deadly part of the mission, flying the hot air balloon straight into the eye of a lightning storm. Right, that's the end of that bit. Very excited to read the next bits.
Of the ice monster.
Of the ice monster.
Yeah.
Ooh. That was that. All right, hope you've enjoyed it. And speak to you next time. Bye.